Hi everyone, so with the Euro elections and the local elections coming up next week, I thought it would be a good idea to do an election preview. I've done it in the past and it was good. So I originally did a preview with the YouTuber Thomas Oeda. He's a good friend and he's a good YouTuber who vlogs about his travels, nature, music, and he has a lot of good videos on politics. So we had a chat, but unfortunately there were some bugs in the system and it didn't really work out for us. The video didn't come through. I don't know what happened. Recorded it. It was recording, but I don't know. It got lost in the system. So that was a bit annoying.
I'm the replacement, basically.
Yeah, you're so the Bruder, das Bruder ist here. So he's the replacement. I'm going to try again. So I want to thank Thomas for agreeing to the interview anyway. Didn't work out, but he made a lot of good points, which I will bring up in our chat. And I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel. He has a lot of good videos on the situation in Ireland with politics. He's a good few videos on the upcoming elections as well, especially about a lot of the foreigners going for elections and how that's a bit subversive. So check him out. As I said, I'll bring up some of the points he raised again in this chat I have with the brother. Let's just look at the state of the parties. I think it should be stated for clarification that both of us, or at least I am, are supporting the alternative parties and people outside the mainstream. And when I say that, I mean the NP, the Irish Freedom Party, Ireland First, Independent Ireland, the Irish People, and all the like-minded independents running up and down the country. For example, the Gran Torino, Ronan Croft, John Waters, the other Waters, what's his name?
Jerry
Waters, for
courageous
example.
doctor.
McNamara, for example, Pepper.
There's a good splatter.
Dr. Pepper. Yeah, so anyway, the new far right, as the media whores might say. Now some include in this grouping. I do, because I just think they're kind of outside the mainstream really. Others don't, but let's move. We'll go through all the alternatives. So
yeah. Well, I'd be the same regarding any alternative independent party or candidate that, for me, that spoke up against the COVID scam, that continuously speak out against all that transgender bollocks, speak out against the climate change stuff, the highlight, nitrogen emissions, culling the herd, fisheries, all that, and obviously speak out against the flooding of illegal immigrants coming to the country. So it's like, really, a rule of thumb for me is if RTE, the mainstream media, government parties are blacklisting any individuals that are on the election campaign, or are blacklisting any parties, are choosing to ignore them or ridicule them, they nearly have my vote. So it's a matter of elimination. And you just mentioned yes, it's easy to say Sinn Féin light, that's thrown around, but I think there's a bit of meaning to that, because they're pretty lightweight when it comes to immigration. But to be fair to Patrick Bean, he did step up regarding the double referendum. He was one of the main players in the debate, him with Maria Steen, De Bruyne, Michael McDowell. We should give him credit where credit is due. But yeah, with vaccines, he was for the vaccines. But look, that is either here nor there. But look, he has to maybe play to the gallery. He does have a lot of pro-life boomers in his that he has to win votes over, so he can't go too all in. But just one last thing we're into, it's a strategic vote that I will be voting part to be, not 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 down on the list, because realistically he has a chance of getting that 5th seat. And do we want Nina Carberry to get that 5th seat, that Blaney fell up in Donegal, or another Shinner getting in? So maybe, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know.
yeah, well, that's a good point. Even though he was a bit into the COVID, he has asked for an inquiry, as far as I know, which is fair dues.
It's going to be a whitewash. Into voters will definitely not vote for Sinn Féin because they despise Sinn Féin. They won't be voting.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Sinn Féin will probably just do classic Sinn Féin 1-2 with the 2 candidates, and that's it. May Féiners, that's what they are.
Straight down the line.
Straight down the line, 1-2. They're tribal, aren't they, Shinners?
But they do help the odd left.
Independent. Now, some Sinn Féin supporters might be disillusioned. Sinn Féin supporters might have sympathy for the independent candidates, but we can use them. They, for transfers. Okay. So I think Patrick Bean's transfers, it'd be interesting where his transfers go. But yeah, look, are they gatekeepers? Yes, they are. But as you said, there's a bridge there that the Into's Independent Ireland, they're a necessary evil.
Yeah, well, that bridge that I was talking about, that came from...
yeah, you mentioned it. It was a good point.
I was from talking to Thomas Oeda. He made the great point that if you looked at Sinn Féin in the 80s and the 90s, they were out politically. They were not nothing, and the bridge for them was the SDLP in the north. Brought them into politics, brought them out of the fold. Politically, Sinn Féin were going nowhere.
And you could see, when to add on to that, another bridge for them was they got rid of the fellas that had the IRA pass, and they had the mainstream candidates that had that likability. So it's nearly for our side, Michael McNamara, Padraig Bean have that likability. They're safe pair of hands. There's no controversy. They're not heading protests. So like they're not, but maybe they're the bridge to get the heavies in. To open the gate.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Like, so the SDLP brought in Sinn Féin into the fold of politics, and now look at SDLP. They're not in party. Sinn Féin rule the north, really.
Yeah.
So it's like a parasite. You just attach yourself to the animal
and use them, and then spit them out.
Yeah, eat them out in the end.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the future. Yeah. So that was a good point.
And you have to say, look, we're not pro into here. But you have to respect Padraig Bean, that the slack he got leaving Sinn Féin, and there was a bit of bullying going on. He has set up a pretty decent party in the space of a few years, in the same time frame as the National Party. And you look at where the National Party is at, and look where into is at.
Yeah,
pro-life thing is, and I think it's interesting actually in his leaflets, they don't really mention the pro-life thing. They're playing that down a little bit, but I think that's clever on their behalf.
Yeah, well, you have to give them respect. He built a party from the ground up.
Yeah.
And he has these canvassers going around all over the country. It's a real party now. I think it's an established party. You have, if you see the polling, they're coming up now all the time. Whereas maybe 2 years ago he didn't mention them. They was never in the polls. So once they're gradually getting bigger all the time.
But they have a good formation there as a good party, and they're a new party.
So actually, like, they're a template for the other, the National Party, the Irish Freedom Party.
No infighting either.
Yeah, so there maybe it's something to look just to how to build a party from nothing.
And I've met Padraig Bean in person, and he's actually a nice man.
Yeah.
I think his intentions are there. But look, he is lightweight.
Yeah, but they're a bit of a thorn in the side of the establishment on abortion, the LGBT nonsense, the marriage equality referendum. They were good.
No, they were.
So they're and it's still they're still finding their feet, I think, politically.
Yeah.
So they have Aisling Considine in Dublin. She's pretty good. She was in the national.
Oh, the INTO meeting. She let rip, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. And she got a lot of abuse from.
Yeah, she was heckled.
It's primary. They're all into that. Sex education for kids, So
they had an English lady a few years ago, the INTO, telling the teachers that any of the sex education stuff, that don't tell the parents what you're teaching the kids, and no one thought that was
but the
wrong.
primary and secondary school unions or teacher unions,
they're
rotten to the core.
Aidan O'Riordan, look at Micheál Martin's a teacher. So anyway,
so she was pretty good. She stepped out there at St. Constantine in Dublin. We've Patrick Murray in the south, and we have Padraig Bean in the Midlands. So we've done into then. So the other parties, then we'll have a quick look. We go with the NP and the Continuity MP, the infighting and the gold bars.
Who's Rory O'Bradick and who's Jerry Adams?
Yeah, and
the split.
What is the new thing that Justin has? It's called.
Is it Clan Éireann?
Clan Éireann. It's the armed wing.
Yeah, the Irigi, the heavy ones, the extreme party. But it's that Brendan Beaton saying, isn't it? It's a classic of the first agenda on any Irish meeting or political party is talking about the split.
Yeah.
But this was half expected, because I think the National Party have been on a bit of a free fall in the last few years. I think in theory it was set up as a movement. And I thought, I think it was 5 years ago it was set up. And I just think Philip Dwyer left. It seems to be Keith Woods is one of James Reynolds' minions. It's unfortunate what's happened between the two men, because I actually heard that Justin Barrett or James Reynolds was his best man at his wedding.
Yeah.
So it got personal.
Well, they don't live too far.
No,
from each
Brannard
other.
and Edwardstown, which are just a stone throw away from each other, and it's just a shame that they got personal with each other. James Reynolds had a swipe about his possible drink problem and mentioned about that.
With Justin Barrett?
James Reynolds mentioned it.
Might cut this
Justin
out.
Barrett, he did. It's online. No, that's not being cut out. Don't cut that out. He mentioned it in his speech. He got very personal about Justin Barrett having a drink problem.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And in his underpants.
What?
Swear to God, it's there. Don't cut this out. People will say, yes, you're personal. And then Justin Barrett...
Wait, Justin Barrett was caught in his underpants?
No, he obviously has had a drink problem, and I think he needed help, and the lads were worried about him. So James Reynolds, as a friend, went to his house. But when he was doing it, when he was recent times, because of Goldgate,
Okay.
he happened to mention this in a speech, which was quite nasty to mention that. Well, I
Okay.
helped Justin Barrett when he had a problem a few years ago, and he was in this,
Okay.
which I thought was horrible. It was so personal, but you clearly see he was getting at him. But then in recent times, Justin Barrett has had a dig there saying that James Reynolds is basically saying, he said it in no uncertain terms, he's an idiot. And then he's had a little thing that he lives on his own, he never married. So he's implying something there. So the two of them, it's just unfortunate that they're getting nasty.
Okay.
And it's quite farcical at the moment that it's kind of got to this stage.
Yeah, but it's a shame because there is a lot of good young people in the
There is
National
Patrick
Party.
Quinlan, yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good candidates running in the local elections.
Yeah.
It's just that I think Barrett kind of set up the party and it was his little baby and that's it. And he's not willing to expand the party and help other people to take a little share of control of the organisation.
I think there's a bit of ego here as well. And I think this election is the two of them for bragging rights. They know they're not going to get elected, so it's a case of if James Reynolds beats Justin Barrett in this election, he has the kudos, he'll flex his muscles and vice versa. But we were just saying with James Reynolds, he's not. I think I said to you before, the recent protests in Dublin, 10,000 people attended, and all the main players were there. Herman Kelly made a speech. Well, Philip Dwyer was doing his live stream. But you had all the main players making a speech. That was James Reynolds' moment to make a good speech, and he let Patrick Quinlan step in. And I think if you're a leader and you're after setting up a coup to take over the leadership and kick Justin Barrett down the road, he should have flexed his muscle. But I don't think he's a confident leader. He's not a good speaker. He's very rambly. Unlike Barrett, as he said, Barrett is very rousing. He's a good orator.
I think he's good. He's good.
No, he is good. But Reynolds would be more suited to running in the local elections because Edgeworthstown are having a problem with their hotel, their Park Hotel. There's issues with immigration in Ballymatten, in Granard. So I think he would have been best suited to run locally.
Maybe he is as well. We don't know.
I'm not sure. I think he's just running. Now, to be fair to Reynolds, I see his posters everywhere. Now, I know the National Party, maybe because of the goal, they have more funding. His posters are everywhere.
Well, I got his flyer, and I think it's a good flyer.
And he's in the local newspaper as well.
Rural regeneration, not mass immigration. It's short and simple. I think it's a good flyer.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything from Barrett in the post, did you?
No, he's not doing anything. I know he did a conversation with Off-Grid. To be fair to the National Party, when you see any protest, they're good lads. They all seem like decent, hard, good, working class lads. They seem strong looking as well. Yeah. There's always a bit of show of strength. I'd say Antifa, they'd be good if Antifa kicked off.
Yeah.
They have the power there. But
there's some movement going on.
If they just sort out the squabble between the two men, the grown-ups in the party.
But anyway, that's the National Party. I mean, I will give James Reynolds and Justin Barrett a vote, something anyway down the line. So his Rebecca Barrett, his wife, going in Dublin.
Yeah.
Patrick Quinlan, he's quite impressive. I think he's the deputy leader in Dublin.
Is he running locally or?
No, he's running in Dublin as well. We have James Reynolds in the Midlands, Justin Barrett in the Midlands. The two head to head. I reckon James Reynolds will win that. Yeah.
I think
because he has most of the party.
Yeah, he has the manpower and probably the finances.
Yeah.
It's just a shame the lads got a bit nasty, and the media.
They did get very nasty,
and the media had a bit of a field day with that, and he was even on "Have I Got News for You" in the UK.
Okay.
Which was so it's making a mockery, and I don't know if you've noticed the media the National Party used to be the bogeyman. It used to be this is the far right. The media literally don't even talk about them now. I think they even see them for what they are. They're nearly.
Justin was on I was surprised 2 days ago he was actually on the 6-1 News just for a short segment, but it was good. Short and sweet, nasty quotations.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen, really.
And one last thing about Justin Barrett, I do remember was I can't remember what year it was, but it was during the dark days of COVID, and he was outside with a group of National Party members surrounding him. They were marching in, which was strong looking, but they're all masked up.
Yeah, it looked weak.
The optics were awful. It looked weak.
Well, Thomas was saying when I was chatting to him, he was saying that actually there is that thing about Reynolds that he's not the best speaker, which is fair enough. That you don't have to be, but as leader you probably should be. But it doesn't nothing against the man. I mean, I'm not a great speaker. I struggle.
No, but we didn't take over a party.
But did he really take it over with someone behind him?
I don't know. But Keith Woods was seen around.
Keith Woods.
Keith Woods, yeah.
We should all be like communist China, and that what he said during the COVID. Like, what a knobhead! And I bet you he's all vaxxed up.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he was into
Yeah.
that COVID thing, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
To be fair, the National Party, there are decent lads in there, so.
I just wanted to make a point with Thomas was making a point as we were talking. He said James Reynolds actually has improved with his
Okay.
speaking
So maybe
and
he's
his narration and his talking.
Maybe he's been not maybe patronising, but you probably, if you're going to be leader of a party, you need to probably get elocution lessons and practice in front of a mirror.
Well, you know,
speeches.
Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, all those candidates would have went through all media training.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
But does anyone remember Mary Lou McDonald years ago used to be in questions and answers, and she was awful. If you look back years ago, I suppose they probably get people to, like a coach, to tell them how to speak properly.
It's just drill.
Yeah.
So Thomas said he has improved. He listened to him on the radio, and so I mean, it's like I'm not polished. When I do this crap.
Yeah, and I must say I did get short notice to do this conversation.
Well, it's in the day. It's in the morning, and I'm having a cup of tea. Usually, I'm having a bottle of vodka in front of me, so which makes me,
Yeah.
Rebecca Barrett, Dublin. Patrick Quinlan, Dublin. James Reynolds, Justin Barrett. That's it. That's it. National Party.
Yeah.
I wish them well.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm obviously I'm not into far right politics as such. I'm a centrist. The way the things are going in Europe, you need a push to the right just to bring it back to the middle.
Yeah. Pendulum.
Yeah.
It needs to swing back into the
centrism.
Common sense.
That kind of thing doesn't work anymore. So the Irish Freedom Party. Herman Kelly is running in the Midlands. Dermot O'Conrahan in Dublin and Michael Leahy South. I follow both of them on Twitter. They're very good.
Yeah.
I follow Herman on Twitter, and he's very approachable. He's very easy to chat to. Even on Facebook, he can chat
he's
to
very
pretty
approachable. You talked about Herman Kelly. I think what Herman Kelly has, which I think is similar to Niall Boylan, he has that likability factor. There's a bit of, he's charismatic as well. He doesn't take himself too seriously, but he's able to hit the truth bombs when needed as well. And his party they've got some strong candidates there. Similar
to National Party, a lot of good young people, a lot of good local election candidates. So as your MP, I have his flyer. As your MP, I will fight against mass migration. Good. Stop zero carbon madness. Good. Work to increase farming and fishing incomes. Restart Ireland's military neutrality, which is very important. All against the trans ideology bollocks. Freedom of speech is important. They're all short and sweet.
And he looks like a politician. He acts like a politician.
Yeah.
And he was the press officer for Farage in Europe. Yeah. So he has links in Europe. Did you see the Thomas O'Reilly from the European Conservative that had a spat? Herman Kelly. And he's actually okay.
Oh, and the Birkin boys.
No, not the Birkin. Thomas O'Reilly, he writes for the European Conservative.
But I think he's part of the Birkin.
He must be part of the Birkin. He's a good writer, to be fair.
Yeah, I follow him.
He's a youngish guy. But they had a spat in the...
Yeah, it was a bit silly.
It was in Brussels, but it looked like it was I don't know if it was a party, but they got a bit... So Herman does... I think he has run-ins with people.
But that's what I was going to say next. The problem with Herman is he does a little bit of... I think half of it is just for sport, He likes to rise people a bit.
Yeah.
But he does it across, against the other parties of similar ilk, which maybe, we're all kind of in this together a little bit. So, we all should be pulling in the same direction. He does do his little digs at the NP and NP party and the Birkin boys and the Grips, and he does throw digs here and there, but I do like him and I do like the party. If all these little parties, I'd say they're probably my favourite one of them all,
and they've been on the road about 5 years now at the same time.
But they have great people online I follow, and a lot of good people they're running the locals.
Yeah.
Michael Leahy's good. He's old style. He gets up on a box and just... Yeah. That's the old style Irish way, isn't it?
Or he gets up on a boat and he sings a song about that's far right. It's to the tune of That's Life.
I didn't look at it.
It was a bit cringy, but he get away with it because he's an older and he is a gentleman.
Yeah.
And even the way he dresses is quite old style. Okay. He's good.
Now the Birkin did have a good article on the election, but they made a point, and probably they were hinting at the National Party and the Irish Freedom Party, that they're kind of the opposite at the moment of what's happening to the left-wing parties. The left-wing parties years ago, they were kind of like, we're talking about in the maybe 15, 20 years ago, they were a bit more grounded in that there were workers' rights and issues affecting working class, and there was real issues there that you could follow and support, like Mick Flanagan and
turf cutting.
Murphy, remember Murphy with the protests, the water charge. There were things that you could support him on. But now it's all woke, pink-haired, Palestine nose rings and trans ideology. You know, they're kind of weird, the young people in the party. So the old people that were holding it together are getting old, not as influential. It's been handed to the young crowd in the left-wing parties. The rot has set in. Whereas the opposite, as the Birkin boys are arguing, the opposite is happening in the alt-right, where it's the old fogies that are more influential at the moment, and you know they're prominent, whereas it's the young people. The young people in the alt-right are the exciting ones with the good ideas. They're dynamic. They're clever, articulate. They're not silly. The causes, they're on point. So it's kind of the opposite of what's happened to the left. So that's good for the future. If only we could tell the boys at the top, the old fogies like Barrett and
to step aside.
Herman, not to step aside as such, but calm it down. Calm it down. Let other people take a little bit of control of the parties, you know? Because there's a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of good young people in the National Party and Irish Freedom Party. Some excellent young people in the party, fellas and lassies as well. It was a good point out by the Burkean though, that perhaps the leaders of the parties with their antics brings the whole lot down. Just relax, take it easy, less of the infighting, less, because it's ammunition to the media.
But do you not think that these protests that are held is kind of a coming together of all the parties, like to see Herman Kelly and Reynolds at the podium and all the main
that's
players,
what we're all. That's what
you know,
we kind of support them all because we see it's a difference.
And I think it's more authentic and natural. But when you have a Free Palestine bullshit march, when you have all Sinn Féin there, all the NGOs, that's not natural. It's not organic. They just have their minions send an email to say you need to be seen in Dublin at a certain time. At least the protest and alternative scene is definitely seems to be planned kind of in a more authentic way.
So that's that. Then we have Ireland First. It's Derek Bly set it up in South from Cork. We have Philip Dwyer. We have Margaret Maguire. She's running in the Midlands Northwest. Their website is very good, I have to say. Very well put. Very professional.
Putting up a lot of signs as well.
I wouldn't say I'm 100% aligned with their views, but with everything the two naughty boys say, you know, Dwyer and Philip Dwyer and Derek Bly. But they do work very hard. And they get around, they do get out and about in the streets, put themselves about. And you know, Philip Dwyer is excellent because without his videos, we wouldn't know what's going on in the country.
I have to laugh. Poor old Gemma Doherty was criticising Philip Dwyer, and even though she calls herself an investigative journalist, and to be fair, she's done some good work, the Beery Boyle case and other cases, but she was saying that she was criticising Philip Dwyer because he seems to be everywhere. Is that not the whole idea of an investigative journalist, that you're there at every protest? He's getting out and about. He's very active. He's very busy. And he's another guy that's really improved over the years. And we have to give credit. Grant Torino, Ronan Croft, was the original investigative journalist on the scene, in the alternative scene in Ireland. He was out and about on his own with his little camcorder on his phone. And I think they all took great kind of motivation from Ronan Croft, Grant Torino. And to be fair to Philip Dwyer, as you say, he's calm, he's measured. When the mob, Antifa mob, are on him, he's pretty chilled, and he's good with the guards as well. He's never rude. And now Gemma Doherty does use the whole he kicked a dog.
So what? I've kicked a lot of dogs.
He was a postman. How many postmen have kicked dogs? Plenty to get to deliver the post. But no, I like Philip Dwyer. I think he's very good.
I mean, I don't agree with everything, but that's not the point. I mean,
he's a likeable dub.
I mean, again, he's not polished, but that's part of the charm, isn't
it? He's personable with people on the ground. Just the thing about Bly, I said about Reynolds already, I still think Derek Bly would have been better running for local council.
I don't know if they are though. They might be.
They might be, because I know Andy Heaton is running in Dublin and the Euros. I just think Derek Bly would be a very good councillor.
But he might be running in the council.
I think he'd be very good on the ground. I think he has that street credit, street respect.
So again, I'm not 100% aligned with everything they say, but I'll be giving them whoever, Margaret Maguire, I'll give her a tick. Then we have the other version, Andy Heisman and Ross Lahive, the boats, the sovereign voyage.
To be fair, they got about, didn't they?
It was interesting.
And there was
something
a few
different
skirmishes with Antifa on bridges.
Good skirmishes.
And then
the Irish People Party, that's what they're called.
They're putting out a lot of posters, and they had a good few run-ins with people in libraries, and they got their point across. A lot of videos of them in libraries went viral. So they made their point.
Anthony Cattle is running in the Midlands for them.
Ross Lahive is good as well. They're like partners in crime. He's actually okay.
But that Irish People is a political party in Ireland that unites independent candidates on their shared banner. Core principles, family values, free speech, housing for Irish citizens, sensible. It says sensible immigration policies. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And neutrality, and that's good because a lot of the Fianna Fáil Fine Gael, they seem to have been. They've actually lurched to the right.
Yeah.
In terms of neutrality, they seem to be warmongering all the time now. Yeah. So supporting rural and farming communities. I don't know how independent they are. I don't know like who is running that party. Is it Annie Eastman or is it someone
I think
else?
it's Anthony Cattle fella, but he's kind of I think he has a business IT background. I saw him doing an interview a few times. He seems actually okay. He's kind of an unknown, but sometimes unknowns are okay. There seems to be no
Well, they have a lot of they have a lot of good candidates running in council.
And you have to say with Andy Heath and Russell Heath, they're you have to give it to them. They're on the ground every day. And that Sovereign Voyage was legendary in its own right. Going around a boat, and then they're eating a rabbit one day, and they're got 10. You know,
they should make a documentary.
It was very tribal actually. So it was lessons about like living in the wild and fixing the boat. There was a leak, so it was.
I seen the fight.
A documentary in itself.
I seen the fight on the bridge. That was
and there was taking the flag. It was very amusing, but to be fair to the lads, they had a bit of crack doing it as well.
They had tongue in cheek.
They're a bit tongue in cheek, and even when they go into the libraries. They are taking the piss as well, and they're well able for people. Yeah. So for me, it makes for good viewing.
Well, again,
but are they politicians? No.
They're activists.
They're activists. But
I'd still give.
I'd still give
Anthony Cattle is going to get something from me anyway. I mean, I'm giving out all of these. But then we have another independent party. It's the new party, Independent Ireland. They have 3 TDs in the Dáil already. Mike Fitzmaurice, who I like. Michael Collins, who's not too bad. Richard Donoghue, I don't know much. They have a lot of county councillors that are already county councillors aligned that maybe have left other parties and are going for the new Independent Ireland party. I mean, on their website, I know there's questions about them. They're a bit like Into. We're not really sure what way they'll swing.
Softball players.
But if you look at their website, and this is on their main page, tackling government waste, mismanagement and overspend on 4 areas. Government spending on just 4 areas. 11.4 billion. 6.2 billion on NGOs. Yeah, that needs to be addressed. 2.5 billion on Ukraine. That's never ending, it seems, at the moment. Direct provision, foreign aid, IPAS, 1.2 billion minimum. And the extra costs with lawyer fees, accommodation, tents even, all the extras with that. And HSE overspend. So, that's on their main website, and there are issues that are important. So that's fair enough. They're a collection of it's kind of like independent rural types. But they're pretty consistent in voting against a lot of the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil Green dictatorship stuff. But they would be gunning for a lot of Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil votes, I think. There's a few decent fellas, but then it got a bit strange as well when the Kieran Mulhooly.
No one knows what he's really about, do they?
I didn't like the way he attacked the Harrington girl, the boxer, because of her stance on immigration.
Was there a tweet or something, or about
And he some of his viewpoints are a bit like he said Ireland is not full. That's bullshit.
Yeah. I think he's someone to watch out in a bad way. He's an awfully man as well.
I don't particularly trust him.
Fianna Fáil County, he has a Fianna Fáil head in him, to be honest.
But I give the benefit of the doubt. I give them the benefit of the doubt because they could have asked him without totally going into some of the policies just to get a big name. And Niall Boylan is running Dublin. I like him. Yeah. Eddie Punch I know nothing about, but he seems to be in the betting in the south. And Kieran Mulhooly, I won't be giving him anything. Yeah. Out of all the parties, all of the alt-right parties or parties on the edge, these guys I think will do the best because they've already got some TDs, they've already got some councillors, a lot of councillors. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got over 20, 30, 40 county councillors. Okay. 20 at least, I'd say, because they have a lot already. Already. Plus, they could. The betting is saying at the moment that they'll get 3. They'll get Boylan will get in. Eddie Punch might get in. Kieran Mulhooly, his third, favourite.
You have to say to them, getting Boylan and Mulhooly part of their team were good choices.
So they could be the bridge that we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they could be the bridge. See, the bridge is important because you can cross the bridge to the other side.
And let others in. Let ones who are waiting at the gate or are not allowed to enter the gate, like the men we mentioned before.
Okay. Yeah. So I think They'll probably.
Yeah.
I expect them to be the.
You mentioned Niall Boylan. He's like a Herman Kelly figure in terms of he does have that likability.
I like him.
And his radio show, he has a good reach. Yes, again, I know he's not perfect. He was definitely late to the game when it came to COVID. I think he was late to the game regarding immigration, but that's okay. Because he's saying all the right things now.
He gives everybody a chance on his radio show.
He's kind of focused on this whole woke agenda. He talks about wokeness a lot, and that's okay.
Okay, so that's them, and then we have Vein2, we've done them.
Yeah.
They have, we said Patrick Murphy. So they have Aisling Considine in Dublin, the National Teacher Organisation is part of. Patrick Murphy in the South, I don't know. Oh no, he's a fisherman or part of the fisherman groupie. Part of that shtick, the fishermen. You know, that might do well in the South. It's a big rural area, you know, the big coastline, you know, a lot of dissatisfaction amongst the fishermen. He could do relatively well, you know. Patrick's out for into.
I don't know much about it.
And then Patter in Midlands.
Yeah.
So that's the parties that are on the alt-right. We'll go through some of the individuals maybe as we go through the constituencies.
Yeah.
So as for the establishment, the Sinn Féin support is falling like a rock. Why? Why is their support down?
Well, it's funny enough, they say on their political posters, the Party for Change. And let's nail it back to the last 5-6 years. They supported the gay marriage referendum. They supported abortion referendum. They're really huge supporters on the whole island of Ireland. Remember, the North is coming. They supported everything about COVID that was rotten. Masks, vaccines. Louise O'Reilly in Dublin wanted to even shut Dublin Airport at one stage. There were COVID zealots. They supported the climate change bollocks. So to cull the herd. They support all that transgender rubbish. I see you have Owen O'Brien there. He couldn't even define what a woman was recently. And obviously they're changing their tune regarding immigration, but we know what their views on immigration was. They were for open borders and a lot of their people on the ground constantly are calling people far right, this and that. So they don't have the street credit anymore. They don't have the presence on the streets anymore.
They're very badly organised.
Very badly organised, and they if you look at their candidates in Europe, they're very mediocre. They're very substandard. Yeah.
Actually, they did very poor in the last local elections. They lost a lot. They gave the ground back to Fianna Fáil, and they lost a few seats in the Euros. Lynn Boylan lost her seat. Yeah. And why? They ignored the water protests. That was a huge thing.
And now they're ignoring the
Mary Lou was very late to the water protest. Nearly when it was done and dusted, you know.
They're the classic. They go where the wind blows, and then it's too late.
And then they got kicked in the ass for that, especially in Dublin. Yeah. They were running some councils in Dublin, and then they lost it all because of the water protest. They didn't support the ordinary people, their base. Yeah. It's happening again. Yeah. It's happening again.
And it's getting stronger now that they don't like when people are calling them sellouts and traitors.
Tout Féin. That's what I call them.
Yeah. They are traitors and they don't like being called that. And it's hitting a nerve with them. So if any student are calling to your door, just call them sellout traitors and close the door. They're feeding it back. And they like to think that things are rosy at the moment and they have everything under control. I think this could be a watershed moment for Sinn Féin. That, as we know, their voting keeps going down. They're at 23%, so you can nearly say they're around the 20% mark. That they always relied on the heavies to keep them up to about 15%, the old Republicans, to keep the vote up. But those Republicans, they're going to be dead in 10, 15 years' time. And who's going to replace that voting?
Trinity College type.
Yeah, like Trinity College type. Is it?
So, they were very arrogant. They thought all they had to do was turn up, because they did well in the last election. Why? Because the Irish people were crying out for change. That's why. They fucked it all up. 4 or 5 years of nothing in opposition, shameful opposition, no challenge to the government, absolutely zero. Country crying out for real opposition, for change, and they sitting on their laurels. What a joke of parties.
I think sitting on the laurels is actually true. I think they just thought they'd always have the working class vote. They thought that was a given, that they'd have the working class vote. And now look at Dublin. Yeah, we ran out of the flats in Dublin. As
I was saying, I call them Tout Féin. You only have to look at what they're doing up in the north. The last 20, 30 years with collusion, for example, with the Ra riddled with informers, spies, double agents.
The fishermen.
But the worst thing was that recent assembly election. They were celebrating like they won the World Cup. Celebrating so you can run the Northern Ireland bastard state assembly for Prince Charles. Well done.
And do you remember when there was devolution in Dublin, in Stormont? They literally ran over to Stella Creasley, who's a horrible London Labour MP, to beg, can we have abortion in the north of Ireland? They literally ran over to London to beg for abortion to be legalised on the island of Ireland.
Yeah.
That's what you're dealing with.
Well, they're running...
Once child murderers, always child murderers.
Well, they're running the 6-county state for Prince Charles, and they're celebrating that like it's an achievement.
Yeah.
They should be bringing that down, not propping it up. But they will be the biggest party in the locals.
Well, they're running 335 candidates, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So they're gonna twist this, that they're gonna get more seats than the last local election, because just a matter of a numbers game. So they're gonna twist and say we've actually had a good campaign, we've gained more seats, and to the average normie, they'll think, oh, Sinn Féin have actually done well. And I think Sinn Féin, they might play dirty in future years because they know they've lost the working class vote. They'll be one of these parties that will be happily signing the new Irish up.
Yeah, like Labour.
Like Labour are. They'll literally be...
Or Green Party in England.
They'll be literally going into migrant centres, signing them up. You know.
Yeah, well, they will play it as a victory. I think they'll get definitely 3 seats in Europe, possibly 4. Only because it's very difficult for smaller parties to do anything in Europe with the numbers. But they'll be playing it as a victory. But they've peaked. And their share has gone down. It's going down. They were getting 32%.
36% at once, but now it's their 23%, and they'll stay at that.
Yeah. So they might do well in terms of numbers, but the general share will be down. The Green Party, the Green Wave has collapsed. Total joke. That's over with.
There are Ireland's version of the Raving Loony Party, Monster Raving Loony Party.
Yeah, they're gone. I think maybe there's a few pockets of resistance somewhere. Fianna Fáil Boomer Party, not a party that attracts young people. A dying party. They might be attractive to immigrants in the future, I think, because no one else is interested in them. Fine Gael, Dublin 4 and the Farmers. Is there a Simon Harris bounce, you think? Maybe a little one?
Possibly. It was interesting though, his first week as Taoiseach, this was just very telling, was he met Zelensky. One of the first phone calls he had was Zelensky, and all we've heard out of him was Palestine this and Palestine that. Kristen Moores had a good conversation with John Moores, and he said he literally does these things because it's for the tweets and likes. So John Moores said, I thought there could never be anyone worse than Leo Varadkar. I couldn't think in my wildest dreams was anyone worse than Leo Varadkar. And then we have Weasel Boy. And then John Morris cleverly used because they're the similar age, he said, we have a wonderful, principled man in prison called Enoch Burke, standing for his rights, that believes in something and is doing time for that. And we have this guy, similar age, Simon Harris, who would literally sell the country out for tweets and likes. And that's what we have.
Well, he's on TikTok. That should be enough to fucking Jesus.
And you take his first week. We have the Children's Hospital still. The budget is still going for that. We've all these little things going on in the health service. No phone call to Zelensky.
Well, that Palestine issue.
And the Free Palestine.
That's only a dig at the Shinners, really, and the lefties. That's just say, look, we can do that shit. We can play that game too. Yeah. So you've nothing really.
Yeah. I mean, you could say it's a distraction from excess debts. It's a distraction from protests in Newtown and Kennedy. Distraction from all that tent city by the
but I think it's a dig at the left.
Yeah.
The Shinners and.
Because Sinn Féin have a fetish for Palestine.
And so what can they offer that would be better than that?
And maybe he's thinking the next general election, Sinn Féin could possibly get in, but I don't know. With the way the ratings go down, they would have recognised the state of Palestine. It's a weird fetish with Palestine, but it's being politically used anyway.
Social Democrats, they're a shiny new repackaged Fine Gael.
Yeah.
If anything, I think they'll take votes off Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Greens, the Labour. I would think they would do relatively well. They're the new Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael.
Yeah.
Holly Cairns, very interesting. She from Cork, but she speaks like a Dublin 4 Valley girl.
C4.
Yeah.
See, I looked at her Ardèche, Holly Cairns, and it was like her speech was all jingle jangles and warm and fluffy. Yeah. And I looked at the crowd, and it was like a Democrat party.
They weren't
I'm surprised jazz hands. There was jazz hands.
Yeah,
and there was masks seen in the crowd, and then you had your token black women at the front. They're an insufferable party, but look, they'll only do well in the cities and towns, Dublin, Galway, Cork. Yeah. I couldn't imagine them doing well in rural Ireland. Labour,
they should just give up at this stage. Join up with the Social Democrats. They're over.
Well, all you need to say to someone who is considering voting for Labour is Ivana Bakic and that Eardon or Eardon. Just look at their faces.
Eardon or Eardon.
Just look at their smugness, their smug, pompous faces.
Yeah.
And
working class politics.
Yeah, they just look down at the peasants, don't they?
Yeah. people before profit and the other socialist nut jobs. I don't know, Solidarity and Independent for Change or something. I don't know what the other parties were. They should just give up again. Gino Kenny was on the box the other night or on the radio. And talking about cannabis legislation,
and he's heading the he wants to get euthanasia in the country. So what a great legacy, huh?
Yeah, like
he wants the destruction of the elderly in the country. They weren't happy enough with abortion.
Yeah, they call themselves progressively worse.
They want to kill the unborn baby and kill the elderly or terminally ill.
And everybody smokes dope.
Yeah, well smokes dope. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Pressing issues. He's an idiot, absolute idiot. And then
I don't know if we're going to go through the candidates. Just you're saying about transfers.
Well, we will.
I was going to make a point about Lynn Boylan and Dottie Doolan that she might struggle. She will get elected, but she won't romp home because Dottie Doolan is not popular in Dublin, and she'd be expecting a lot of transfers from Dottie Doolan. He's not liked because again he's another one that he likes to use the whole far right there, here and there. He's obsessed with Palestine. He's not popular. I think it's Ballyfermot direction. He's just not a likeable individual. So I think he's going to struggle in that election. And Lynn Boylan won't rump home the way we expect her to rump home because she was expecting those transfers from him.
She's 1-33 in the betting, but there's a poll out today and she's third. She's not a hot favourite.
Okay.
According to the polls, so I don't think anybody will romp home.
You can imagine her partner is Owen O'Brien. You can imagine them at home on a Saturday night.
Maybe they go crazy. Maybe they're total opposite.
But again, you talked about there's a lot of nasty women in Sinn Féin, and maybe I think you made the point as well that maybe because there was a lot of so-called strong men in the Republican movement that they had to prove their mettle. Like Louise O'Reilly in Dublin. Oh my God, she's just a horrible individual. There's a horrible energy off her.
Michelle O'Neill.
Michelle O'Neill up in Dublin. They had an Anderson up in the north. Was awful nasty. All pro-abortionists. All little minions for the globalists.
Yeah, because they have to prove their mettle. Yeah, they have to be harder than the men.
Yeah, they're very cold.
It was John Waters that made that point.
Right.
He said from his years as a journalist, he found that you could talk to Fianna Fáilers or Fianna Gaelers on a personal level, but Sinn Féin always aggressive, always angry. Especially the women. He said that, and I think he's right. I think he's
well, look at their candidates that they've had, even locally.
And they've had an awful lot of problems with bullying within the party.
Yeah, men and women.
And look at the way they treated the girl with the rape allegations.
Maria Cattle. Yeah. It was all hush hush. They wanted to shut her up, didn't they?
Treated her very badly.
Cara Nolan had issues when she left the party because of her stance on abortion.
Yeah.
In the corridors of Dáil Éireann. Patrick Bean had issues with Dáil Éireann where people were squaring up to him. He was trying to get rid of boxes because he was still a Sinn Féin, and there's people squaring up to him. There's a nasty streak in them. Yeah. And I've even seen it just firsthand in canvassers around the area. They're nasty as well.
Yeah. But when Prince Charles comes to town.
Oh yeah.
Or what's the guy, the ex-RIC fella?
Drew Harris.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Get the cameras going. Yeah. Best the buddies.
They lost the war up there. And now they want to vent their anger on us, the working class Irish. They lost the war.
You give up your weapons.
Yeah. And they
get a chance to prop up the assembly. Well done.
And that's why they despise people like maybe the National Party, Irish Freedom Party, people like John Morris, because they have the true sense of nationalism and what it means to be Irish and where Ireland should go in the future. Yeah. That's why they're in a conundrum because they have an identity crisis. They don't know what they are and don't know where they're going, and they don't even know what they stand for.
Yeah, and I have all Palestinian flags. You'd rarely see them with an Irish flag nowadays.
Yeah.
So anyway,
just one interesting with Sinn Féin was that there was a protest in Dublin recently, and you had the Alternative scene marching through the streets of Collins Street, and you had Sinn Féin counter-protest, but you had the whole crowd saying Sinn Féin traitors. It was like how the pendulum has changed. It used to be Sinn Féin marching through the streets.
Yeah.
We'll see how they get on. So their days are numbered, I think. I think they're running out of ideas now.
So Matt Tracy had something on the grips today. I didn't really read it fully, but he was making the point that actually nothing will change. The Irish people will still vote for Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. The question is the anger real? Will there be a lurch to the independents and to the right? Are people really waking up?
What do you think?
I think that the fact that there's 25% in the polls going for independence, there must be something going to happen. Now it might not be for people who we would like, but it might be the middle ground candidates like Into and Independent Ireland. But it's better than it was this time, the last Euros, when it was like you could count on one hand maybe the candidates, especially in the locals. I don't think there would have been anybody in the locals to vote for.
Well, we were watching during the dark days of COVID, and we just thought we were waiting and waiting and waiting for people to implode and think this is a load of bollocks, and it didn't happen. It never happened, and it seems to be all hush hush now. Nothing to see here. People don't want to talk about it. And it's interesting. The immigration was the catalyst that got people really angry, and it kind of arose this kind of Irish awakening in people that they regrouped, and communities came together like little flying columns, like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, East Wall. Down in Cork, there was a few places.
But I think COVID did help as well, because it got people.
Yeah,
we're not going to take shit anymore.
But COVID was helpful in the sense that people who were happily going along, like myself, and then we saw this government overreach, and we saw how the government impeded on our freedom of expression, freedom of movement. They tried to force bloody masks on us, tried to push that bioweapon down our bodies, and they tread on us so much. And I think people were like, "Don't bloody tread on us." We saw the government for what they were. They tried to literally
let the genie
trample on
let
us.
the genie out.
They did. They showed their cards. And I think, as you're right, it's just steamrolled from there. Now, Catholics was the Dublin riots scared the shit out of the establishment. I think the Dublin riots was the catalyst that I think it just went up a notch. I think things just went up. It was like a computer game. I think COVID, there was the protest, then there was a few protests around the East Wall. Dublin riots was like, okay, we hit another level here. Manchester had a concert. We had a riot.
Yeah, that's what Thomas Sheridan said.
It's true though. It's true.
That's a great point. Yeah,
we were saying that.
That was embarrassing.
It was obvious. Yeah.
Like, we did the.
Don't look back in anger. No, we showed real anger that day.
Like the anger on the streets is the real power. It's the real voice, the voice of the people.
Yeah. And you also have to look. You have to go down to basics, because immigration is affecting housing. It's financial, and there's also a sense of place and home. You look at Newtown and Kennedy. I've been to Newtown and Kennedy. It's 1798 territory. There's pikemen, statues of pikemen everywhere. I think people are getting into a sense of this is our homeland, and there's a sense of maybe historical. They're taking back to their history and Father Murphy and all these people in the area, and that's why there's a bit of.
I think Sheridan goes on about that as well.
Yeah, no, there's something.
It's in your genes.
Yeah, our Celtic, this Irish tribe is coming out of us.
Yeah, it's just our nature.
Yeah, to fight back, and you can feel it off people, and you can just feel the energy.
So, but the point is, like, I don't agree with that. The gripped idea that nothing will change, because even if nothing happens, the rise of the alt-right has at least got immigration to be a talking point, and it's going to be continue to be a talking point. They've got it to the center stage in all political conversations, which is good. So even if nothing politically happens, we've moved the conversation. We've moved the dial. It's not going back. That's gonna be.
Well, look, they're tightening up people coming in, aren't they?
Well, so to say, they might not be doing anything.
They're reducing the social welfare for the Ukrainians and for all the other chancellors. So they are responding. Now they won't admit that, but they're responding to the protests indirectly. Clever enough. They don't want Ireland to turn into a little Malmos or little gated areas in England and all that.
Okay, so we
just keep going.
We just go on. What influences people? Do you think posters make a difference?
I wonder, is it just tradition with people that they feel the need to? I mean, when you think about the idea of putting your face on a billboard that's the size of nearly a coffee table and just splatter it all over the place, does it make a difference? Is it, or do people just do it for tradition, that they have a fund there?
Thomas Oida was making the point that he was making a good point that like if he travels a lot, so he'd be on the car. You know, it's kind of like subliminal.
Yeah.
You know, you pass the same face every day, and then you go into the voting booth, you see the face there. You're nearly drawn.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, John Waters, his team have been doing homemade ones that you can clearly see they've been done in like the shed of a local farmer, or you know, it's a bit of thought and care and effort put into it, and I think they hold a lot more power than these. Like Sinn Féin, I've just heard this morning, they've pumped €126,000 into their canvassing. So that would be for signs, posters, leaflets. So you can imagine it's just a factory pumping out all these leaflets. Then someone spray painting a photo John Waters, and they're literally nailing in poles and.
But it's been creativity.
I
wonder I know Thomas Sheridan mentioned that a little, but I wonder has he connected that to the magic. Yeah. You know, because he's always talking about the creative spirit. The creative spirit.
And maybe that's authentic.
Maybe that's adding a little bit of power to John Waters' campaign.
Maybe. Now, who knows? Now, when you get a Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil leaflet, I literally throw them out, or I've handed them back to them sometimes if Okay, so you don't think they make a difference, or they might make a difference? The posters, the posters. I think you'd be silly not to put them up, but I wouldn't go, like I noticed in my local area, one fella's put them up everywhere and anywhere. It's nearly like it's too forced.
Yeah.
I think be clever with your money, that you could use your finances.
Strategic.
Be strategic about it, but that's just like...
The flyers, do they make a difference?
Well, they're going to every home. People, if you're going to do the numbers game, you're going to have people who it doesn't matter who it is, they'll just tear it up, put it into the fire. But you'll have someone sitting out a cup of tea saying, I might as well read this. So you're going to get more voters with the leaflets, I think. John Waters has a good leaflet there. You read out Herman Kelly's.
Yeah, they all have leaflets, more or less.
I think they work better.
We got most of them, and we didn't get them all. We didn't get them from the National Party. We got one from John Waters, we got one from Malooly, Reynolds. So the main parties, Tobin got one.
Yeah.
Flanagan, Saoirse McHugh, Irish Freedom Party, Peter Casey, we got Labour, we got Sinn Féin. So what do you need to get elected? I think pound the streets, knock on the door, shake hands, hold babies maybe.
He's a 99 going in a GA stadium,
Old style, well they do, there are canvassing outside the GA games.
Race meetings.
What kind of race meetings? Are they like National Party race meetings or horse race meetings?
Yeah.
Is it like hooded? They're all hooded up for these race meetings. It's old style. A lot of people really appreciate someone knocking on the door that have the balls to come in and say hello.
Well, I think Michael Leahy's ran a good campaign because he's done the door to door. He's taken the pictures on the streets where the classic just greeting an old woman or with a baby. And then he's mixed it up with that little video that went viral of him on the boat. And then he's doing the hustlings and he's doing the talk. So he's been doing a bit of everything. But it's interesting, John Waters said to Christian Morris that he initially with his campaign, and it was very noticeable, was he said he was going to run a campaign with basically not engaging with the mainstream. And he was going to do less canvassing and maybe more doing chats with the alternative scene. Okay. But I think he's quickly realised, and he's probably got feedback, that John, you need to get out there. You need to maybe go door to door. You need to be more visible. And I think people respect that. And also, if there's only a few votes in the difference of you getting elected, you might kick yourself if you think, do you know what? I should have went to that hustlings. I should have went maybe to canvassing that day. Then maybe talking to this fella online that's part of the alternative scene.
Well, I think, to be fair though, I think Thomas Sheridan endorsing John Waters.
Oh, it's huge,
and Ewan McGurk, because Thomas has 30, 40, 50,000.
Huge.
Even Christian Morris, I suppose he's endorsing, so he's big following. And that can't be enough.
No.
Because that could be a few thousand, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And to be fair to John, going back, I know we'll talk about John Waters.
We support John Waters.
We do. I'd be voting number one. Is the early days of his campaign, he had that defamation case with that witch, Kitty Holland. And that would have knocked the stuffing out of him. Yeah. He would have been distracted by that witch.
Where did that go?
Well, I think it's still going. And obviously, psychologically, physically, that will have an impact. So I think in the early days, weeks of the campaign, he was caught up with that. I think it was only May. And he's still dealing with that court case. Okay. Horrible court case.
So this house we've had, I wasn't here, but Sinn Féiners came to the door because we're a Sinn Féin family, we're a Republican family, and we got Labour because part of my father was into it at the very beginning.
Labour used to be good.
We were originally Labour, then we went to Sinn Féin. Working class politics. So they both of them came to the house, I think, or at least the Labour one dropped something in there was no one at the house, but they dropped something in the door. But that's it, I think. It was only two. Okay. The next door neighbour, because they're Fianna Fáil, they got a Fianna Fáil person at the door. Okay. The other neighbour got Fine Gael because they got their Fianna Gael. So that's, they have a list of old style Irish, your father voted, your mother voted, this is... Yeah. But I think that's changing. I don't know if young people still go with what their parents do, but...
In terms of just vote? No, I think young people...
Some people do, though.
Yeah. When you have Fianna Fáil dynasties, don't you? I suppose it's subliminal. If a child or young lad is here, growing up here, and all the great work Fianna Fáil have done for his father and great-grandfather.
But other than that, we've had no one. Did you have anybody
I had a nice girl come from knock to the door regarding Intu, and she was nice, pleasant conversation. Okay. I told her, like local election, I'll probably give you
you had the Shinners, though?
I had the Shinners, wasn't impressed with Sinn Féin, but again, it goes back to, they're a bit tetchy. Look, I didn't have the energy. They're clever. They call to you late at night. Again, this is just, the all parties do that. So when your guard is down, you just want to relax. And I just, very clear, I just said, not a chance, Sinn Féin. No way. I did the sellout traitors, but I kind of kept it very... You did? I kept it very... It was very... But he got tetchy. He should have known, right, I'm not going to waste... If you're going to be canvassing, if you know someone's not going to vote for you, just go. Yeah. But he stood there, And it was just a little bit. It was all. I just found him a little bit. I think he was out of his comfort zone. I don't know if people have just been polite to him, and maybe in the local area people haven't said much to him. But I think he was a bit offended that I actually. How dare I criticise the movement?
Well, we're Republicans.
Republican movement. No, they're not. They're pseudo.
So they think
pseudo-Republicans.
All Republicans support them.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They're not real Republicans. TV debates, I think, are shameful. They have virtually no one on the alternative, at least the far right alternative, on the telly or on the radio. Yeah. At least the national airways. I think local radio is different. Yeah. I mean, that's a joke if you call that democratic.
I've been listening to, and I'm sure anyone from Donegal would know, Highland Radio I've been listening to all their debates. They've had local election debates, but they had the Euro election debates, and they had everyone on it.
Yeah, I think
surprisingly, John Morris wasn't on it. I don't know if that was I don't know why. Maybe he was asked, couldn't do it, or maybe he wasn't asked. But they had Jerry Waters on it. Okay. They had a lot.
I think local radio is different, though.
Yeah.
But it's shameful. It's shameful that RT don't have anybody, and they've had Saoirse McHugh 3 times on it, and she's like way out in the bed. They've had the woman from the new Green Party, Rebalta or something.
They're like
green
extremists,
Green Working Party.
Yeah, just a loony
Marxist Greens.
Yeah. Watermelon.
But that one, she's like the last on the betting, and she was on. See, to be afraid. They're afraid to have someone like Derek Bly on who can argue.
They'll speak the truth, won't they? They'll just hit one truth bomb and they'll just...
Yeah.
There'll be someone saying...
Like Peter Casey. But sure, Peter Casey's not. He's a joke.
He's a snake oil salesman. Or anyone tuning into the Tonight Show on TV3 at 10 o'clock. I actually
my mother. She looks at them religiously.
I don't think they make a blind bit of difference. It's just filling in the air time.
I disagree, because you have to think the percentage of people who actually vote, it would be a higher percentage among the over 50s, the over 60s. Boomers. There would be the high percentage of people who actually go out and vote. So you can't just ignore them. You can't.
Yeah.
They make up a good percentage of the people who actually vote. The people on Twitter, the people on the social media, they're maybe on their 40s, 30s, 40s, under 50 anyway.
Yeah.
You can't just ignore that age demographic, and they're the ones that are looking at these debates. They're the ones that listen on RT radio, because they never change the dial. That's it. And they're the ones that read they read the national newspapers, they believe everything they say. So it's a huge disadvantage.
It's so much for democracy that they're literally silencing independents that give them a fighting chance. Have a debate where you have all the alternative candidates.
Yeah, like they used to have Herman Kelly on the. But they got rid of him because he was.
Yeah, he used to be on the TV3. Yeah.
That moves on to can it all be down to Twitter and online? So it'd be interesting to see how well Derek Bly or Philip Dwyer, who are massive online, because some of Philip Dwyer's live streams get huge views, and some of the retweets. Big players retweet their stuff.
But who's to say that? Like, how many of those people watching that? I mean, it's a simple argument. They're not in this consistency. They could be UK, they could be Irish Americans.
That's my
Australians.
That's my point. Massive online. Yeah. Will it be interesting to see how that translates to real votes? A little maybe, but it's hard. I know they also do a lot of work. Like out and about. Okay, other things of note. I think it's absolutely shameful that foreigners can vote and even run in elections. You can be in the country a wet week and next thing you're running in the elections, like some of the Ukrainians.
But it's a form of gerrymandering, isn't it? It's a new form of gerrymandering.
Yeah, well, in the future, me and Thomas Oeda were discussing. Like in the future, what's to stop 100 Pakistanis being shipped into a town and 12 months, and then they'll have a candidate running.
Look at the UK. A group of the Muslim lads ran under the Green Party, and they were coming out of election halls in Bradford saying Allah Akbar. and they had a Pakistani flag. I mean, guys, wake up! Just be careful. Like that guy running in Dublin, the Walter Mitty guy, the Muslim guy.
Oh yeah.
Just vote.
Well, he everything.
Make sure you don't give him anything.
All of his shtick is about representing immigrants. Yeah. So you don't represent immigrants. And that's my point.
And he calls people that question immigration, constantly calling them far right.
That's my point.
He can go fuck off. I mean, we're not against foreigners here, but don't you're still a guest as well. Well, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
I've lived in countries. I've lived in England, and when I was in England, I was entitled to vote in the council elections in England. I live in Switzerland. I would find it embarrassing to even put my name forward for anything like that. It's not my business.
But we know what parties will benefit from this form of gerrymandering. And the one that comes to my mind is the crime syndicate of this country, Fianna Fáil. Fianna Fáil, they're already doing it with the Brazilian fella.
That's what I said.
They are the Gumbean party, but they are the party that would literally sell this country out to the lowest bidder, not the highest bidder.
No class.
No class. No.
But we don't want Fianna Fáil are they're like the Tories in England. The party is more important than the country.
Yeah.
The council elections, just some people to know. We've Ronan Croft, Gran Torino, Gavin Pepper. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, he gets out and about.
We've Niall McConnell up in the Donegal. Someone I follow online and I really enjoy his videos. Catelyn McCarthy.
Yeah,
you ever look at him?
He's the guy with glasses, isn't he?
He's very good. Limerick.
Yeah.
Ross Laheath. He's running in the Euros and Cork. And McCluskey, Donegal, interesting. You know Conor Rafferty? He used to have a YouTube.
Is he an Northerner, is he?
Yeah, but he's kind of big into elections. So he's running in 1, 2, 3, 3 places, 4 places, 3 places. Dublin, City Council, Dunleary.
He's hedging his bets.
Yeah, and you can do that in Ireland.
Okay, just go back to Anne McCluskey. I think I was saying to you off camera that I was a little bit disappointed. Again, back to Highland Radio had local election debates. She's running for
Irish people one, I think. Maybe.
She's running the Letterkenny area anyway. And local election debate. She's wearing a Free Palestine t-shirt. I was a little bit. Now she's an old lefty. She was ex Sinn Féin and ex Into. I thought it was a little bit like her shtick was she was struck off the UK medical register because of her views on COVID.
Yeah.
And she's all about vaccine deaths and COVID. Why didn't she wear a t-shirt of excess vaccine deaths or something about COVID or something about Ireland? No, she had to wear a Free Palestine t-shirt.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a. I still like her, but it was a bit of a letdown, and it was very left field, and it was very random.
Yeah,
Is she trying to virtue signal to trying to get a few lefty votes in the Donegal area? Is she trying to play everything?
Yeah.
Maybe it was genius what she was doing, but I think I thought she was a bit more classier than that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be too onto that, to be honest, too negative onto that, but for me, I don't give a fuck about Palestine, to be honest.
No, it's just
either way, left, right, up and down. It's Middle Eastern politics. I've no interest in. They can do whatever they want out there. Either side, I don't care.
It's Andy Heisman's Fingal County, so that's Blanchardstown.
Yeah, and it's a fella I like online. You know Stephen Delaney?
He's good on Substack. Yeah, he's a good writer, and I think he ran his own polls, and he said he's a chance of getting a seat. Is he third in the running in that area?
I have no idea.
I actually did. He ran his own poll. Now, there could be bias there as well, but he did his own polling himself.
And the Irish Freedom Party, because I don't know, maybe because of the people in the party, but I follow a lot of them on Twitter. Not that I particularly looked out for them, but I ended up following James Conway, the man James Conway.
He ran a hoolie last night in Sligo.
Oh yeah, it was a bit expensive, 35 quid a pop to be in a field in Sligo.
Yeah. I mean, should he not ran it after the election, after he wins?
David O'Shea, have you ever seen him?
Is he Navan?
He's very impressive.
Is he Beard?
I think he might.
He's Navan, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he is Navan. Is he Irish Freedom Party?
I only heard him once on a live stream or something. I thought he was very good.
I don't know who Mandy Gall is.
Mandy Gall online. I think her name is Amanda Gallagher. She's Sligo. She's pretty good. Shane Lynham, he's Westmeath.
Yeah, he's Westmeath. He's the Irish Freedom Party. Yeah,
he's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Luke O'Connor, I think he used to start it off as YouTuber. I think.
Yeah, is he
Kilkenny or somewhere maybe?
Is he National Party or IF?
No, they're Freedom Party.
Okay,
Patricia Johnson, I think. They're all impressive.
Again, you were saying about like a lot of young. They're all youngish, 30s, 40s.
Yeah, I know. That's the same with the
good energy. They're all based, but family orientated.
It's the same with all of the parties. The Irish people have a lot of good people, and the locals. The National Party have a lot of good people.
Yeah.
That's the other one. The Irish First Party. They all have a lot of good people on the ground.
Yeah.
Stephen Kerr and Susan Delaney of the Irish Inquiry.
Yeah, they're impressive. They're a couple, aren't they?
I'm not sure about that, but Stephen Kerr's very impressive.
She's Susie, isn't she? I think she comes up as Susie.
I don't know much about her, but Stephen Kerr, I'd imagine he'd get in.
He's in Breffni in Mayo, and there've obviously been an influx of immigrants into the hotel there.
Well, they'll probably all come out and vote against them.
Yeah, they can.
They can.
The gerrymandering, I know.
They can do that.
Yeah, but hasn't someone been signing them up? Didn't they say 50,000 could be possibly voting in the elections?
For Fianna Fáil.
Stephen Kerr, to be fair, from day one, COVID, he's been on it. He doorsteps people. Remember, he doorstepped that Fluke O'Neill, that nasty piece of work.
He's good.
And he's calm, he's measured. He remember someone snapped a phone.
I strong though.
Remember someone snapped a phone out of him. Someone from people from probably at a meeting. And he was well able to handle.
Remember any of the guards? He caught the guards taking videos of the protesters, and they were getting a bit heavy with him. But he's calm. He does. He stands his ground.
You mentioned about Stephen Delaney. You mentioned about Stephen Kerr. These are the guys you want in your council, lads.
Yeah. But they are going on council.
No, that's what I'm saying. These are the guys you want to get elected. Like, these are the guys, they work damn hard for your community, and you can imagine they're grafters as well. And they're based.
Is Steve Sutton going anywhere?
No.
You sure?
No.
Okay, I thought
he was singing last night. Actually, I think he was joking, saying he was going to run, but no, he was not.
Was he in the James Conway thing? Was he?
He's a good singer.
Was that online or something?
No, I saw a few clips of it.
Was it on TV? RT were showing it, weren't they?
yeah.
Tina G.
Yeah. It was alternative to the Flag Kill. Yeah.
Okay, we'll just finish. So we'll just go through the constituencies then. So Dublin constituency, 4 seats. Last time round it was Barry Andrews, Kieran Cuff, Claire Daly and Frances Fitzgerald, the crook.
Jesus.
She topped the poll. She got over 120 or something, which is a joke.
Unbelievable.
So we have, just go through the candidates. We have the Dr. Umar Al-Qadra. He's a race grifter. Yeah. He's the Muslim version of
Hazel Chew. That story that he got attacked in Tallaght had more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
Meeting 2 guys late at night about a wedding. Yeah. Kind of strange.
The main thing is if Philip Dwyer beats him in the election, that's a small. Oh no, he will. But that'll be a little bit of, we can just push him aside now.
Barry Andrews, Fianna Fáil, well-known political family scumbags. He bankrupted when he was in charge of Charity Goal. He bankrupted, and just like his party bankrupted the country. So he's
His father was David Andrews, wasn't he? Big Charles Haughey. Just Fianna Fáil mafia in Dublin.
I think he's the only Fianna Fáiler in the Dublin. They don't generally do that. They used to own Dublin, but now they're gone out of fashion.
Bertie Ahern.
He's no personality. He's lightweight. Rebecca Barrett for the National Party. She stands up for Justin. That's
she's loyal.
Lynn Boylan,
not
Soros Society up in Soros Society. She's one of these ditzy women. They act all corporate and professional, but you know they'd fall like a cheap suit if they came across someone like Putin or Trump. Really, they act. You know, there's a load of those.
Well, you're going to be mentioning them further down in the south. Billy Kelleher and Timmy Dooley were out in Ukraine giving it large, and always giving it large to the Russians. As you say, well, go and put them on the front line there, lads, and a few tough Russians will sort you out. You're right. Yeah. Lynn Boylan, she's very charmless. There's not even the look of her. She's very gaunt.
Yeah, that's what I said.
She's very gaunt. She looks ill looking, but you know what I mean. They keep whipping her out for elections.
Ditzy.
I mean, Mary Lou McDonald must be loyal to her because it must be a case of she's lost a few elections as well.
But she's favourite to get in.
Well, we were saying, who knows? Look, I don't think she will get in.
Okay, Niall Boylan. Yeah. Great name recognition. Shock jock, I like him. Yeah, well, I think he has a good chance. He has great name recognition.
Well, again, he's that likability factor. His campaign manager is Sarah Ryan, who does a podcast with John McGurk.
Okay.
And she's even though she always mentions her age, she's 40, 41. She comes across very sound, stable, rational.
Okay.
Her father was actually a Fianna Fáiler, but she hates Fianna Fáil now. So what I'm saying is, he's got a good campaign manager as well. They're running a good campaign. And again, he's another one. He's been out and about in Dublin. And also, he has the add-on of the radio station as well.
He's charming.
He's very charismatic,
So we have someone called Robin Cafola, this non-party, or I think it's the Roberta class, the Green Left.
He's a climate activist.
As if the Greens were not batshit crazy enough, you get another even redder version of them. Silly stuff.
A watermelon.
Aisling Considine, I've seen into. We talked about her. She's pretty impressive. Kieran Cuff.
So wasn't he up to dodgy dealings with?
Yeah, he got it in his will. He got some. Yeah. His mother left. His mammy left him 1.3 million in
oil
the will, and it was all tied in with oil exploration. He's gormless. Just look at his face. Claire Daly. I think she could retain her seat. I mean, her stance on Ukraine, I respect
was admirable,
that.
She always will talk about what happened in 2014 in the Donbass.
Yeah.
And she talk about corruption in Ukraine again. But then she's all about Ukraine
and Palestine.
But not about bloody Ireland. They said nothing, her and Mick was nothing about medical apartheid in Ireland in 2020.
I mean, it's easy to talk about something that's happening over there in the world. Regina Doherty,
Yeah.
she lost her seat
She
in
did.
2020, so I don't know how she's
Yeah.
tipped to get a seat.
You know what they say? We had a teacher in my school, secondary school, and he used to always say, it's all about the eyes. It's all about the eyes. She has those mad, crazy, loony eyes. And does anyone remember when she was speaking to the Scottish government a few years ago, her equivalent, and she said that there was 9 genders. Not more than 2 genders. She said there was 9 specific genders. So if she comes to your door, you just have to say, Regina,
9.
Can you name these 9 genders, please?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. She's a loony. She's a lunatic. But she's a classic Fine Gaeler. She's obnoxious and a snob. He looks down at people.
Dottie Doolan, we kind of mentioned him. Well, I mean, if he's 16-1 and he's a shinner.
Yeah. In Dublin.
Yeah, well, obviously there must be anger there.
Yeah.
So we have Philip. I hope he does well. I think he will do relatively well. I wish him well.
Yeah.
Might not always agree with him on a lot of things, but he gets about and I respect him for that. He does have, I would say, some name recognition there.
Yeah.
We have Sinead Gibney, Social Democrat Party, former Irish Human Rights and Equality Commissioner, enough said about
That's
her.
enough, yeah.
She looks like a cunt, so I'm going to edit that out maybe. Andy Heisman, well, that's Andy, crazy Andy, and he's the Irish people. He's a roofer from Knock, okay.
Yeah.
He's a key figure at some of the protests that have been going on.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with him when he's running with Malachy. He should have given Malachy more respect there. But anyway, that's past. We've Conor Murphy, he's a medical student and CEO. He's an independent, non-party. I think it's hard to know. He says the most serious issue is the high level of immigration.
But should they're all saying that now?
But then he wants to go and join the Progressive Alliance of Social and Democrats. So I don't know. We've Eamon Murphy. I follow him on Facebook.
He's run for a few elections, this fella.
Yeah, he's pro-life basically.
Yeah, that's all you do.
He's decent enough fella, but I don't know why he's going on this. But I suppose it's just profile. He wants the pro-life message to be out there. I do follow him on Facebook.
Okay.
We've Dermot O'Connor. I follow him on Twitter.
He wrote a book, didn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good when it comes to the how immigration ripples into other issues with supply and demand. So he's on the ball there. Irish Freedom Party.
He's probably a better version of Rory Ahern.
He's a real expert.
He's a real expert than that chancellor, pseudo-intellectual Rory Ahern that's running in our constituency.
Okay, Brendan Ogle.
Jesus.
Trade unionist with, I think he has 4 pensions or 3 pensions.
Champagne socialist.
Acts like a student. He probably has a picture of Che Guevara on his bedroom wall. I mean, he nearly ruined the Irish water movement by, he's trying to quell the anger. Organised talks with the government.
His thing now is free Palestine solidarity.
I mean,
they're predictable. These guys are predictable.
They're subversives. They're subversives.
Yeah.
Interference. We have Aidan O'Riordan. I think he's long lost brother of Eamon Ryan. He just talks nonsense all the time.
Yeah.
Even though he's not very likeable. Eamon Ryan is a bit likeable.
He always likes to remind people, because he tries to be all in with the working class dubs, that he was a teacher in the inner city Dublin. Well, go into the inner city Dublin at night time and see how you get on there. A classic. He's your classic. He supports Bohemians. All you need to know.
Stephen O'Rourke, non-party.
Yeah. This guy did an interview on Gript recently.
Stephen O'Rourke?
Yeah, they did an interview with him. He came across a nice guy.
Okay.
Nice guy.
I don't know anything about
I did. To be honest, he didn't grip me that I zoned into the whole interview, but he seemed decent enough.
Okay, well he's a lot of word salad.
Yeah.
He's an academic. He's
just fresh out of university.
Word salad and his thing on the Journal and RTE, like whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what he exactly thinks. So we have Patrick Quinlan, the National Party. I'm impressed with him. Hope he does well.
He's still a young lad, so.
We've Breed Smith, People Before Profit. She's a scumbag. Hatred and haggard look, never happy. Similar to Kildare and Ruth Coppinger. They never smile, never happy, full of hatred, full of anger.
Well, it's going to eat you eventually, isn't it?
It does.
It does, though.
It's just negative.
If you're
negative all the time.
If your role in politics in Ireland is the destruction of the family, destruction of the unborn baby, and pushing every policy that's going to create havoc and hardship for people, you're not going to sleep well at night. It's going to eat away at you.
Yeah, I don't understand. They have everything they got the abortion and
but they didn't get the abortion. They want abortion up to birth, and I actually say that flippantly. I think that's what they want.
Yeah.
She wants also to stop people from protesting, these vigils near abortion centres. So again, it's never ending for these.
Yeah.
They're toxic individuals. Yeah. I mean, they're low level psychopaths.
Malachy Steenson, old style Republican, in his family and his blood, a real Republican, unlike many of the Shinners. pro-life, very good street activist. Basically, he kicked the whole street activism.
It was East Wall, wasn't it?
North side and East Wall.
And I think Malachy said, to be fair, when these protests in Dublin, it's hard, organising 10,000 people and all different parties. He's always front and centre. He does a calming presence. You can see he organises the speeches, he organises the walk. He's quietly behind the scenes doing it. And it doesn't seem like he's doing it for attention either.
I hope he has something organised for the county councils.
Yeah. Well, if we were just saying that, again, he would have been a good county councillor. The inner city Dublin needs someone like him.
But he probably has. I'd be surprised if he hasn't something. So they're the candidates for Dublin anyway. So Ireland South constituency, it's a 5-seater.
Yeah.
Deirdre Clunas not going. She was Fine Gillen, know nothing about her. So the candidates for this is Paul Gavin. He's an English accent, isn't he?
He's an English accent. He's from Limerick. He's a nasty piece of work. Sharon Keoghan called this fella out. He's a bully.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Sharon Keoghan grew up with Anne Lovett from Granard.
Okay.
You know the grotto. She lost the baby. She died and she lost the baby. And I think it was the anniversary of that death. And Sharon Keoghan was doing a heartfelt speech in the Senate about this. And the speech went in different avenues, but the speech went anyway about that there's other options outside of abortion. And again, she was kind of getting emotional just talking about her friend that she grew up with, and he kept interrupting her, and she kept saying to him, I'm making a heartfelt speech here. Yeah. Stop bloody interrupting me. And he wouldn't stop. Again, it just showed what we talked about earlier, just nasty individuals in Sinn Féin.
Yeah.
And this guy, if you go on his Twitter account, he's always far right. I remember this guy, during COVID, he called people who protested against COVID extremists. This is coming from a party, Sinn Féin calling people extremists.
Yeah, used to
pot kettle.
Kill children with bombs. Well done.
Yeah. COVID idiots, he kept saying. You can check it up there. He was nasty during COVID.
Well, the Shinners are nasty. Yeah. I've no time for them at all. They're scumbags. I never heard of him anyway. But I think he's
he won't get in. There's the bell, Nick Wallace.
Nick Wallace, he's pathetic, really. Yeah. Well, I mean, look at
well, he's a property developer as well.
Yeah,
remember
he owns the
fancy
Italian restaurants in Dublin. Yeah. It's a bit incoherent with his policies, I think. I think people have enough of his shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Michael
Claire Daly, I know it's a different constituency. Claire Daly might get in, scrape in, but I don't think she'll have her
boyfriend.
Her boyfriend.
Yeah, basically.
She might be alone in the Parliament.
Michael Leahy, I'm very impressed.
I like him.
He's calm, coherent, good speaker.
Is he a barrister?
Irish Freedom Party. I don't know. He might be. Okay.
A former architect.
Patrick Murphy into, as I said, he's the fisheries campaigner. Yeah. He could do well. Michael McNamara. I'm impressed with him. Yeah. He's actually independent. A lot of people think he's.
I thought he was.
Independent Ireland.
No, he's been good about the NGOs.
Okay.
His shtick at the moment is the NGOs, and he's right. And I know John Moore's mentioned that in his leaflet. The billions squandered, thrown at these lefty NGOs.
He's well liked.
Yeah, he has that I hate to use that word, likability factor, and he's a safe pair of hands.
He'll get a good.
He's safe.
Good rural and farming.
But he might get. The reason why they're saying that Eddie Punch has a good chance of getting in is that
his transfers.
His transfers from McNamara.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah.
Niamh Horrigan, sociologist for 25 years, that's enough. Labour Party.
Yeah.
The most important issue, according to the Labour Party woman here, is climate crisis. I thought the Labour Party were meant to represent workers. Ross Lahive, carpenter, that's pretty cool. Because a lot of they're
working class.
Yeah, Derek Bly, an electrician or builder. And Annie Heisman is carpenter or builder.
Local elections, James Combe is a farmer.
Yeah, ordinary people.
Yeah.
Like how many Fianna followers, property developers, solicitors, I like to see them do well. We have Una McGurk. I don't know anything about her.
No, she I think she's associated with Lawyers for Justice, who have a good presence on Facebook and Telegram. And I think also that the WHO pandemic treaty, she's pumped out videos. She's very clear and concise.
Okay.
And that's her line of work. She's very good at explaining things, breaking it down and working solutions. Okay. And she was very good during the double referendum as well. Okay. She quietly played her part as well, Una McGurk. Okay. She pumped out some really good videos that went viral. She has that likability factor. I mean, we live in a world where John Waters, Michael Leahy, Una McGurk should be representing Ireland. They're commonsensical. They live in reality.
I don't know a lot about her. Sheridan and Waters supporter. That's enough for me.
She's getting a lot of, maybe compared to a lot of the other candidates in the alternative scene. There is a lot of people talking about her.
Okay.
I haven't seen much from her apart from a few online videos.
Okay, Susan Dial, Social Democrats, a human rights lawyer and mental health advocate.
Okay, so she's just checking boxes there.
Bullshit. Sean Kelly.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, he's kind of old style pig politics about it.
Going to the Brussels.
Could hit him with a lump hammer and it wouldn't make any difference. No soul, no spirit.
It's send in the tick paddy into Brussels and he'd be a lapdog.
Sell Ireland at a heartbeat.
And of course he's a GA head as well.
Yeah, and he's from Kerry, like Jesus Christ.
He's hitting all the check box for more Gumbean.
And no hoper, his running mate, John Mullins. I don't know anything about Fine Gael.
Never heard of him.
Picked in the trough. Yeah. Again, Fianna Fáil, Billy Keller, exactly the same, old style, sell out Ireland.
He was giving it large about Ukraine, and like, giving it large about the vaccines as well.
Old style Irish politics, all talk, all bullshit, no action.
Sell the country out,
they do. I hate that politics. Christopher Doyle, Wexford, non-party. Don't know much about him, but he's on about the World War II, Ukraine, profound effects. We face climate and environmental crisis. Well, you worry about that. I won't. We've Keon Prendeville.
Oh, this fella.
People Before Profit.
Oh, yeah.
Clown, Cynthia Nimerka, who Fianna Fáil.
She's a fascist.
She's an idiot.
She wants, one of the first things she wants to do when she gets into the European Parliament is to bring it to speed up the Digital Services Act.
Okay.
Which is to have stricter restrictions on Twitter, X, and Facebook if they're engaging in disinformation, misinformation. She pumped out, I think I was telling you, she pumped out a video recently about this DSA, the Digital Services Act, and someone said online, just turn the volume off and look at it.
Okay.
And she looked like a deranged devil.
Those
devilish eyes. She's a crazy guys. And of course, like all Gaeldores, they're always sellouts, those Gaeldores.
Yeah, well,
the most Irish name will be the most un-Irish.
Yeah, it's funny because they think it's a gotcha moment when they speak Irish and you can't. Yeah, that doesn't prove anything. That proves you got a good middle class, upper class education.
When she Gael talked about anyway, she'll do really bad in the election.
She's not even nice.
No, the horrible, nasty individual. Yeah.
Derek Bly, construction worker.
Yeah. He might do okay, actually.
Yeah.
He's got
there's a lot of good on the street canvassing.
Yeah. He won't get elected, but he'll get a good, strong vote.
Yeah. We have Eddie Punch. I don't know much about him. He's kind of come out of nowhere for the Ireland, Independent Ireland. He'll get a good rural and farming vote because he was in the Cattle and Sheep Farmers Association. Interesting. We have Graham DeBarra, non-party. He works for an NGO, I think. He's on about drug legislation, so
another Gino.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's on about. Pacifism. Kathleen Funchion.
I've seen her. She's a TD. I don't know anything about her.
Another Ottoman woman. We have.
I think what you call it a Notting burger. There's a lot of Notting burgers.
Lorna Berg, she's part of this. She was actually on one of the debates on TV.
Unbelievable.
Roberta, the Marxist Greens. Yeah. We've this one, Mary Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, I know a bit of. She used to be. Was she into?
She's a nurse.
Yeah, she's a nurse and lecturer down in Tralee, and she was initially with Into because she's against abortion.
Yeah.
And I think then she came alive during COVID because a lot of student nurses were obviously put pressure on to take vaccines. I think she's set up a little group. I
follow her on Twitter. She's very good.
What's that? She used to write. She has a Substack now. Rosengrave. Oh,
I don't know. I don't know.
She has a Substack. Anyway, she did an interview there recently. She spent a day with her and with her family, and it just was a very well written article.
Yeah, well, she's good.
Louise Rosengrave is the journalist, but she came across very.
I know she's good online.
She seems very principled and had good values.
Best interest of nation states, immigration, neutrality. Yeah. Again, neutrality is a key issue. Pro-family policies, supports small business. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
She's kind of tagging along with Una McGurk, so they'll transfer to each other.
Yeah, I hope she does well. Kieran O'Riordan, I don't know anything about him. He's a homemaker. Fine.
And there isn't a picture.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about him. Grace O'Sullivan, Green Party.
Nah. She's still running, is she, that one? There's some neck these Greens.
She's a sitting MEP. And you know what? She's been a member of the EU Parliament since 2019. She's been a member of the EU committees covering fishing and the environment.
Was she? And just selling out her fisheries.
Selling out the farmers and the fishermen. Helping to give away her fish.
All the sitting MEPs, not one of them stood with the the farmers in Europe when they went to Brussels. It's very telling. Even Ming included, who we'll talk about now soon.
Well, Midlands, Northwest, so that's our constituency, 5-seater. So we'll have a look. We've Green Party, Pauline O'Reilly, the Common Good Woman, batshit crazy.
It went viral. Elon Musk and a senator in America called James Vance talked about her when she was talking about freedom of speech in Ireland, that we have to curb freedom of speech for the common good. And she said it likewise with that Regina Doherty, with those wild, dangerous eyes. Women like her are dangerous because they literally want to shut us up.
Yeah.
She's dangerous.
Well, we talked about Herman. He's running. I hope it does well. Rory Ahern. Did you know he's an expert?
Oh no!
Did you hear that?
He doesn't like to mention it.
No, he doesn't. No. Trust me, I'm an expert in housing.
He's an expert in housing, but he doesn't ever talk about the elephant in the room, which is immigrants.
He doesn't see the connection between massive inward immigration and the lack of housing.
200,000 people after coming into the country in the last few years. And he doesn't think there's a connection.
Don't blame the immigrants.
And if you just even mention it, he just uses far right. This guy is a pure spoofer, but the media love him.
Maria Walsh.
Oh my God.
Former Rosa Tralee.
So mental health, take. Rosa Tralee, take. She talks about LGBT, take. Climate change, take. Yeah. She calls people far right, take.
Pale, stale and male. What an idiot.
I mean, she reminds me of Saoirse McHugh. Like, someone should tell her that, like, you're in 5th year now, you know, you got your leaving cert next year. They're very adolescent. They're like teenagers. They're
always smiling. Inane smile.
They're just fake.
Okay, John Waters, good man, John. No to open borders, no to woke nonsense, no to the health crisis, no to housing crisis.
Well, I think John over the last few years has been the spiritual leader of the movement.
Yeah.
We were talking about Malachy Stinson in Dublin, but I think with all the fringe alternative independent parties and individuals are running, John Waters is the one that everyone agrees that they like. You don't hear anyone giving out about him in terms of saying there's a mutual respect from everyone, and he articulates how most of us are feeling and thinking in his own unique poetic way. I'm a big fan of John Waters. He's the main man. During the early days of COVID, we should never forget, him and Gemma Doherty went to the High Court in April 2020 so that people regarding the COVID restrictions.
Yeah, well, it'll be always remembered.
We always remember that.
Send me into the belly of the beast. I won't disappoint you.
And he said the first thing he'll say if he gets elected in the Parliament will be no, 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 and no.
Well, yeah, the big fat no's before Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, again, imagine if someone like John Waters did get elected. But look, he's in a tough constituency in terms of there's a lot of runners and riders.
I like him. I interviewed him for my channel. He was a gentleman. As I said, Thomas is helping him as well. I hope he does it, and Christian Morris is helping him too.
Yeah, they did a good interview recently. I think another thing with John Waters is that you get a sense that he could be thinking of this long term as well. There's a general election. He kind of hinted that he probably will gauge to see how he gets on well here.
Yeah.
And if there's a good strong vote, I think he'll run the general election.
And so James Reynolds, I hope he does well. You know, I mean, he get a lot of farm and rural votes on it. Michelle Gildernew, she's dropping down from the north.
Yeah, she's a Nordie. There's nothing to her.
But they'll hoover up a lot of that Fermanagh, South Tyrone, for the border county.
Cavan, Monaghan, Donegal,
yeah, that kind of thing.
Well, one Shinner will get in.
Fergal Landy, Labour Party, we don't need to know anything about the Labour Party or joke. Stephen Garland, non-party. He's a medical advocate for the legislation of medical cannabis. I mean, for fuck's sake, we already have Luke Ming. Like, we don't need another stoner in there. Barry Cowan, Biff O'Cowan.
Well, all you need to know on Barry Cowan's poster, it doesn't say Ireland matters. It says Europe matters. Look, Fianna Fáil mafia sending in another Cowan Gombean to Europe. Yeah. But did you see Brian Cowan did an endorsement video for Barry Cowan and it looked like a sketch from Savage Eye. You'll have to put it in. Actually, someone said, is that Brian Cowan drunk again? Because I don't know, I hate it. Maybe he has a condition with his eye.
Yeah, conditioning.
But I mean, as endorsement videos go, someone should have said to Barry Cowan, your brother is after making a holy show you there. He had him with a stick sitting on a chair and he was barely able to string 2 words. It's worth checking out. Anyway, Barry Cowan is part of the scumbags. He's part of the Fianna Fáil.
And I love how he gets so angry. Like he's, you know, you ever see him talking on, he gets so angry like he's making some kind of great speech and he's driven and
he was caught a few times, wasn't he? Drink driving or...
Yeah, he's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah. Look, Fianna Fáil mafia. That's all you need to know.
Saoirse McHugh.
Yeah, same cloth as Maria Walsh.
She might split some of the Green vote, but anyway, I wonder will Ming give her a nice hug on the counting day, you know, for old times' sake.
But again, she's been given
a lot of airtime.
A lot of airtime.
Like she was
Yeah,
the last time and the time before. I don't know what.
She's clearly very egotistical because she doesn't read the room. She only did well the last time because there was that green wave with all that Greta Thunberg rubbish that was going on.
There must be someone pushing her in RT though.
So she's clearly not reading the room that people like her are despised now. And she's running an area which is surrounded by turf and farmers and bogs.
How old is she? Like these people,
she's only in her 30s.
They're teenagers the way they're going with their politics. Pater Tabine, I hope he does well. I think.
I think he'll do well. He could snatch the 5th seat.
I mean, his blurb is good. Too much power. It's all about power in Brussels and bringing some of that sovereignty back to Ireland. Yeah. And that's kind of like a real Republican. He is a Republican as well. People forget that. You know, he is a nationalist. He's not like Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael that sell out the country.
And it was admirable by the way he left Sinn Féin. I mean,
for pro-life, it's an important issue.
Him and Carol Nolan. Blaney is just part of a Fianna Fáil mafia. Nepotism. He only got a seat because of his father.
And he had a hissy fit. What an idiot.
He looks like a Fianna Fáiler. Michelle Smith, Ballinrobe protest. She's a bit dodgy. She had a northern accent.
People were saying she might have been a Sinn Féin plant.
She's blonde-haired girl, isn't she?
I'm not sure. I don't know, but is that who she is?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Was there a thing that she was head of centre of protests and then she was trying to quell tension? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know much about that. Yeah. Luke Ming, he still acts like a fucking student.
Look. We have to say here, when Ming first came to politics, we were all impressed.
We were mass behind.
We liked Ming because he was speaking our language, rural Ireland. He was all about turf curtain, preserving rural life, preserving the bog, and the added of cannabis, which was kind of amusing. And then he would do conversations with Vincent Brown that again were brilliant. He became a TD and he quietened down. And then when he went to Europe, he became just a crazy lefty, and he's all about Palestine now. And have you seen his daughter? She's a left. She's a crazy lefty.
Jesus.
And of course he has autism now.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, of course he's autism. And again,
basically,
did he ever stand with farmers in Europe?
Never. I'd agree with Thomas Sharon. You have to be always wary of stoners.
Yeah.
They are losers. Anyway, Jerry Waters.
I like this guy.
Refused to administer COVID vaccines during the pandemic.
He was struck off the Medical Council in Ireland. He refused to give vaccines to people as a GP. GP of 40 odd years. Yeah. Now, I like this guy. On his poster it says the courageous doctor. It might get confusing because there's Jerry Waters and John Waters at the very end.
Yeah.
He did a good conversation with
Van Clergy.
He did it in his car.
Oh, right.
And it was very, very, I recommend it. It was musings. They were going around his area in Selbridge and they were looking at his posters. Okay. And they were having a very good drive. It was very relaxed because maybe in their car.
Okay.
But Jerry Waters is a man of principle.
Okay.
And just one thing about Jerry Waters is that he's at an age now, a bit like John Morris. They could be putting their feet up, enjoying their pension, but they're putting themselves out there.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of sport for them. Well, I think they enjoy it.
Well, I think Jerry Waters, you can see, I think he mentioned that he's enjoying the crack.
Okay, Margaret Maguire, Ireland first. Good luck to her. I don't know much about her, but I'd be giving her a tick anyway.
Yeah.
Nina Carberry, singing and dancing basically.
So. It would have been better crack at the pub Paul Carberry.
Yes. This is
actually cringy.
Is a retired champion jockey who has also appeared on a number of reality TV shows, including Dancing with the Stars and Ireland's Fit. Oh, but that's enough. She obviously can represent me, so. Raised on a farm and living in a commute belt. I'm a champion sportswoman. Yeah, like sitting on a fucking horse, like champion sportswoman.
And again, you going back to what's this got to do with running for?
She's an author. What book did she write?
I don't know, just Farmer's Journal. Or
How to Ride a Horse.
Farmer's Journal.
And again, a businesswoman. Look, she said she calls herself a business advocate. Yeah. Like who isn't? Maybe the Green Party.
Telling the Fianna Gael that these are their two main candidates. It's Maria Walsh, who's won a Pretty Girl contest, and Nina Carberry. I mean, it reeks desperation. Fianna Gael used to have a stronghold in the West. If that's their calibre, they're fucked.
Okay, so
they will get one in. Possibly two.
Daniel Pocock is an Australian software engineer. I don't know much about him. It's all AI and technology. Kieran Malooly, we've talked about him. I don't trust him.
Don't know anything about him.
XRTE.
Yeah. To be fair though, he was the correspondent for the Midlands over the years, and to be fair, he was good at his job. But again, like correspondents, he never got their views on anything. As you mentioned,
he said some silly things
about Harrington, the boxer, and a few things about COVID. Yeah. So